If you're here, you're probably going through a pain that feels unbearable. Maybe you've lost someone important, someone you loved, someone on whom you had built hopes, projects, dreams. You feel empty, almost as if a part of you had been torn away without warning. Abandonment is like that. It arrives like an icy wind and leaves a void. I know, it's hard. It's hard to get up in the morning with the same energy as before. Hard to look at yourself in the mirror without feeling that sense of loss. Hard to accept that someone who once chose you has now decided not to anymore. But let me tell you something. The pain you're feeling is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of how deeply you loved, of how connected you were to that person. And precisely because that bond was so intense, their absence today feels like a heavy weight. Why does abandonment hurt so much? Because you're not just losing someone, you're losing a piece of your identity. You had become accustomed to building your life around that person, to seeing the future through their eyes, to sharing moments that now seem to have vanished into thin air. It's like mourning, but with one fundamental difference. That person is still out there, continuing their life without you, and that's exactly what makes it hurt even more. But do you know the truth? What you're experiencing is not just pain, it's transformation. It's a difficult passage, yes, but also a necessary one. What is the first mistake to avoid? When someone leaves us, our first instinct is to figure out what went wrong. Where did I go wrong? Was I not enough? Should I have done more? This spiral of thoughts is a trap. The truth is, the end of a relationship is not always someone's fault. Sometimes people change. Sometimes what once seemed perfect stops being so. Sometimes the bond that once united two people wears out, and as painful as it may be, it's a natural part of life. But pain deceives us. It makes us believe that the solution is to chase that person, to try to convince them to come back, to find a way to put the pieces back together. But chasing someone who has decided to leave will not bring love back. It will only bring more suffering. So how do you overcome abandonment? The answer is not immediate, nor is it simple. But I can tell you with certainty that the first step is to shift your focus from the external to the internal. Don't ask yourself why he or she left you. Ask yourself, was I already abandoning myself? Had I already lost a part of myself in this relationship? Very often, when a story ends, we realize that something inside us had already changed. Maybe we had already felt that sense of detachment. Maybe we had already noticed that something wasn't right, but we didn't want to see it. When the separation comes from the other person, it forces us to acknowledge a reality that already existed. And then, pain can become a teacher. It can show us what we had neglected within ourselves. It can point us toward the path to rediscovering who we are. Abandonment as an opportunity for rebirth, I know. Right now, this phrase might sound empty. Maybe you're thinking, what rebirth? I just want the pain to stop. And you're right, because pain doesn't go away overnight. But what if, instead of fighting it, you tried to listen to it? What if, instead of looking for an escape, you tried to face it head on? Within you, there is a sacred place, a point where pain cannot reach. Finding it takes time, takes silence, but it is there, inside you. And when you find it, you will start to see abandonment for what it truly is. A passage, a painful one, yes, but one that is necessary for something greater. What can you do right now to start again? Stop blaming yourself. You were not left because you weren't enough. You were left because something had broken, and it wasn't only your fault. Don't chase after someone who has chosen to leave. If a relationship is meant to continue, it will come back naturally. Forcing it will only push it further away. Find your inner strength. There is within you a place of peace, a point where pain cannot reach. Listen to yourself. Close your eyes. Find that place, and start rebuilding from there. Surround yourself with people who truly care about you. Talking to someone who understands can help, but avoid making abandonment the only thing you talk about. That will keep you stuck in the past. Accept that pain has meaning. Every difficult experience teaches us something, even this one. If you can stop resisting pain and instead go through it, you will discover that it is not the end, but a new beginning. What comes next will be better. Right now, it seems impossible to believe, But what you are going through might actually be preparing you for something greater, for a version of yourself that is stronger, more aware, more capable of loving in the right way. The end of a love is often the prelude to a more authentic love, but to find it, you must first learn to love the most important person in your life, yourself. If you feel lost, know that you are not alone, and know that, even if today it seems impossible, there will come a day when you will look back and realize that this pain shaped you into the person you were meant to become. And on that day, you will thank yourself for having had the courage to face it.